always, well, what can I do? And sometimes I think, well, my perspective is particularly when you're working with vulnerable communities, you've got to tread very sensitively, and it might just be that getting well out of the way is the best possible thing to do. And I think certainly that's what community cultural development or community engaged practice or whatever you're calling it in your particular country, because it changes everywhere, is what that is. I think it's a really great comment. Does anyone else want to comment, Lydia?
Yeah, I think sometimes the best artists and producers are invisible, and it's in those cases that we see communities owning and empowering and moving through stuff. But in terms of straight arts practices, we have a very fraught relationship with presenters as Indigenous makers of art. So I think those relationships need ironing out in this country a lot, and that very much arts organisations can get in the way of us presenting work because it's just not understood.
Yeah. Thank you. We've got time for one more question in the front here, thank you. Or any burning questions we might be able to fit you into.
I'm just thinking, there's so many things that we share that are in common. For example, you know, we're going to have in Athens a discussion about the Sydney Biennale because a very similar thing is happening to our art organizations also. And I want to talk with you afterwards. Maybe you want to Skype and have a discussion about it. Or we also have these detention centers for the immigrants that are flooding in the country, even though for sure some of our own are in your detention centers, you know. Anyway, but I'm thinking, even though we share so many things, there are some issues that are not, thank God, so popular, like what's happening in Hungary. Like there's not an extreme neo-Nazi party in such huge percentages in so many places. And my question is basically to you, coming from talking about this specific issue, you said you were touring a lot, and I wanted to ask where and in what context, like how, if you wanted to talk about this experience a bit more.
Thank you, Eugene.
Thank you.
We're with Word for Word about the murders. We've been touring to different French festivals and to Prague, and actually there is a lot of racism and hatred of the Gypsies in a certain part of the Czech Republic, in Bohemia. And of course, needless to say, in France also there is deportations and all kinds of other issues. You've seen for sure the images that Sarkozy was during his time, they were just sent away and all of that. So I think in a way, by showing where this road leads to, actually is what you can do often. So you show this. There is a country where this already led to that very extreme situation, because the show is really not about these